Not a good start to the Tuesday show. Shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School. And this was reported right after 1 o'clock here, local time. We've been piping through our news partner WFAA and their live coverage. They broke into programming, so we broke into our programming as well. They're talking to students. So I've been listening to this for about an hour now, and the facts are all over the place. But if you jump from platform to platform to platform, you can kind of put together a story here, and I'm sure some of this is going to change over the next 24 hours or so. But here's what we got so far. A shooting, one student shot in the leg is what seems to be the consensus among most platforms, but we did have Sullivan over there on WFAA talk to a woman who said her son is a student, called her on the cell phone, and he saw two of his friends shot in the leg. But this is the same guy. Cole Sullivan reported a witness that he had talked to earlier only heard one shot. So we have conflicting stories already, and that was coming out of WFAA. If you jump over to dallasnews.com, that's the website for the Dallas Morning News, they say multiple students said at the time the school's metal detectors were not regularly used, and the school did not consistently enforce its clear bag policies, both points of frustration. A lot of people are pointing out that this is happening almost 1 year after the Wilmer Hutchins shooting of 2024. NBC DFW, Channel 5, but their website, NBCDFW.com, reported that a parent who spoke with NBC5 said his daughter's a student at the school, and she heard 5 gunshots. When he talked to her on the cell phone, she was still in the school, said it was on lockdown. Fox 4 News says a 17-year-old was shot in the lower leg. Fox News, the national one, foxnews.com, had their reporting on this. They added the fact that a witness said 3 to 6 gunshots were heard. Parents are being told to avoid the area of Wilmer Hutchins High School. I know that goes against your primal parental instincts here, but it's already a huge traffic jam out there. WFAA has a helicopter showing you the scene. There's quite a few emergency vehicles there. I was trying to count them up, and in one shot, I counted 19 between the fire trucks and a handful of ambulances and cop cars. We do already see some parents there. But Dallas ISD has put out just a generic statement also saying parents avoid the area until told otherwise. And they declined to respond to comments from everyone else who reached out with questions for them. So the suspect, possibly a student, but that seems unclear as well. All of the platforms are reporting that there's a 17-year-old student shot. The ones that are reporting on how many people were shot and the age say a 17-year-old is shot. Only FoxNews.com, I saw, said that it was a student, a 17-year-old student. Fox 4 News, the local Fox affiliate, says a 17-year-old was shot in the leg. Doesn't say student. And I believe that was echoed by WFAA. And, of course, the tag, the context that comes with this is, man, this just happened 1 year ago. And I remember having the conversation with you. We need to do something about that. We need to lock this down. They need to tighten up security. That's what a lot of people were asking for. Here we are a year later. Same problem. So 800-288-9227. If you have any details, eyewitness accounts, or secondhand that you've heard from your kids, you can relay it to us. 800-288-9227. Again, our top story, shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School in Dallas ISD. There was a shooting incident, but not an active shooter. The consensus seems to be one student was shot in the leg. I have one outlet saying it was the lower leg. Fox 4 News added the adjective lower. So you can see I'm just going through the different sources trying to piece together details that people are starting to chime in with. And the story is not even an hour and a half old, but we'll keep you updated here. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Top story, there's a shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School. It happened. It was reported Right after 1 p.m., then the active shooter situation was declared ended by 1:45. Source told WFAA, and then by 2:15, after the James show had already started, the campus had been secured, according to Dallas Independent School District officials. Crews were dispatched to the scene at 1:06. There's been another report telling the parents, hang on, wait until we get everything settled down and the students evacuated before you come pick up your kids. That was one of the complaints for the shooting at the Wilmer Hutchins High School last year, is that reuniting the parents with the kids was a little chaotic. And so they have said that the students are being evacuated to the bleachers. You can confirm that if you're watching WFAA. They have the helicopter shot, and you can see a bunch of students starting to file into the home side of the stands at the Wilmer Hutchins football stadium down there. And conflicting reports abound. That's normal for a shooting situation that's this new. Some witnesses are saying 1 shot. Some witnesses are saying 5. The most I've seen is 6. I've also seen that 1 guy was reported injured, 2 guys reported injured, and another source, a third, says 3 ambulances were leaving with people. So I don't know if all that's related to the shooting, or maybe they just went to go back to some other call. I don't know. But I'm just passing along what's been reported here. WFAA, 3 people in total were transported from the scene by Dallas Fire Rescue, according to a source, but it wasn't clear how many of those were shooting victims. So, Mom, Dad, if you got kids down there, Dallas ISD is asking you to wait until they have finished the evacuation in an orderly fashion and have the students staged at the stadium. Apparently not all parents are following that order, but if you are going to follow the rules, they're also asking you to please have your photo ID with you when you come get your child so they can be sure to match you up with the proper student. The comment section under this is, it's not offensive or anything. It's just, man, are we already talking about this? Are we already talking about gun control and metal detectors and what do we do about this? Can we at least make sure the 17-year-old's okay? He's reported to be in stable condition, so he's expected to be okay. But already, whether you're looking on X or some of the other comment sections on other platforms, they're already talking about the clear bag policy, the metal detector situation. We've got to harden these campuses. Is that what happens at the schools that don't have shootings, at the schools that don't have violence? Did they have metal detectors at the safe schools? Why do people just go for that? I don't know. It's bizarre, especially this soon. But let's hold off on assigning blame and declaring we have some sort of rescue plan to prevent this from happening again before we even know everything that's gone on just not even I guess it's about an hour and a half ago now. And I am a person that is a believer in thoughts and prayers. So thoughts and prayers for the families that are affected by this, and all the kids that are doing the right things, and all the families that are, they're not sending problem kids to school. They've got to live in fear like this. They've, growing up's tough enough. A lot of emotional baggage comes with anyone doing that transition from childhood to adult here. But you want to add in 2 shootings at the same school a year apart. There's the overhead shot of the kids lining up in the stadium. They're all on the home side. They're all on the right side. They all seem to be packaged together. And there's a line of students. So they have some sort of orderly process. I don't know if they're just checking everyone in on an iPad so they can make a proper head count and know who's who and who's where. But there does seem to be a feeling of organization to this, especially compared to what we just saw last year. That was April 2024. Another shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School. It left 1 student injured, so we may be in a similar situation here because I don't know if it's 1 student injured. I don't know if it's 2. I don't know if it's 3. I've seen reports for all 3 of those scenarios, 1, 2, and 3. So I am just passing along what other people are saying, but I have a feeling in about 24 hours, probably on tomorrow's James show, we'll have enough of the basic details established and agreed upon that we can start having these other conversations, like what went wrong, who's at fault here, how do we prevent this from happening again? Is there anything we could be doing to prevent this from happening again? How much of this is the school's fault? How much of this is on the faculty or the security apparatus or Dallas ISD. And I got to tell you, not much. Don't want to get too far ahead of it, but here's another good shot. This is the side parking lot where they have the emergency vehicles station. There's over 20 there now. Let's see, the ambulances have gone. It's all fire trucks and police cars now. There were 3 ambulances there. Now they're not. So that's the latest update. Top story, shooting at Wilmer Hutchins High School. We have reports of one 17-year-old injured. I'm assuming it's a student, but that hasn't been confirmed. Also, I'm assuming the shooter may have been a student as well. But, I'm not even fully convinced that if it is just the one shot, could this be some guy who had a gun and it accidentally went off, or he reached in his pocket and accidentally pulled the trigger? I mean, maybe we can't rule that out. But once you hear that there's 5 or 6 shots, that's out the door. That's not an accident. That's a intended act of violence, completely different situation. Not that the previous one's an acceptable situation. An accidental shooting in a school is bad. Just an intentional mass shooting where the guy's squeezing off multiple rounds at another student. That's worse. 800-288-9227 if you have any inside info, any witness accounts, eyewitness accounts, secondhand accounts. We'll be happy to pass some of them along if you happen to have them. I'm going to go check the platforms, and we'll keep you updated on our top story. One shot at Wilmer Hutchins High School. It is not an active shooter situation, but parents, we ask you to please stand by and wait to show up until they have the evacuation plan set and ready to go. Everyone in the comment section I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people are making the connection to the shooting that happened this exact month last year. And that does make it super disturbing because we have a high school that already must have had some security issues because they had metal detectors in place. And the metal detectors had failed. Their existing security protocols had failed this time last year. And it's like, oh, well, I guess one got past the goalie. I guess we'll lock it down and make sure this doesn't happen again. And then here we are again. And so you got to start asking, well, are metal detectors the answer? Clearly not. How bad does it have to be for lightning like this to strike twice in the same school? And I mean that as a metaphor, but think about it in the real world. Have you seen a school shooting twice at the same school before? Is this the first time this has happened? That's crazy. So the good news is we have no reports of fatalities. There's differing reports on how many people were shot or how many people were injured. We have many people saying one victim, a male teenager, was shot in the leg. I had one source say it was the lower leg. But we also had the report that 3 people in total were transported from the scene by Dallas Fire Rescue, a source told WFAA. So we're waiting for the all clear on parent reunification plans. The good news is they seem to have a little more orderly hold on the evacuation plans, getting the students out of the school, getting the crime scene cleared, staging the students at Eagle Stadium. And it looks like they're cataloging the kids as they go in order to reunite them with their parents. So when the parents show up in the parking lot, you can show them your ID. And they'll go holler and get your kid out of the stadium. Or they can tell you if your kid's in the stadium or not. Maybe your kid went home with the friend, or maybe your kid got picked up by someone else's parents, or maybe the grandparents beat the parents there. But they have a system that looks a little more organized because we just went through this in April. We went through this on the James Show, and we had the helicopter, and we had the live reports. And I just find it so bizarre. I think this is the first time I can remember 2 shootings at the same school. We haven't had to go through this before. Do you remember 2 shootings at the same school? Another thing I see in the comments is this is a time to homeschool. This is the last piece of evidence that some people need for homeschool. And let's wait a little bit before we get all political, because we can talk about gun control and whether or not this supports school choice, or we need to get vouchers now, or for the safety of our kids. Can we just wait until tomorrow to do some of that? Let's make sure all the kids are okay. Let's get a few more facts settled here, because I still don't know how many gunshots were fired. I still don't know how many kids were shot. You still don't have enough evidence to start making some assumptions or recommending fixes here. But sad story. Someone's class was disrupted, and this is a level of trauma that I wouldn't wish on anyone's kid. Wilmer Hutchins High School, another school shooting. That is 2 in the last year. Unbelievable. All right, we'll keep an eye on this as new reports come out. If new details emerge that I think you'd be interested in hearing, I'll be sure to pass them along. But coming up on the James Show, I have an interview with Senator Ted Cruz, and we're going to ask him to grade Donald Trump's first 100 days. We are about 100 days through, and I want to say like the first Donald Trump's first 100 days, the first of his Donald Trump 2.0. Clearly, he had a first 100 days back in 2017. But I'm going to ask you the same question after I talk to Ted Cruz. What grade would you give Donald Trump on his first 100 days? So we'll talk to Senator Cruz next. I'll ask him that and about some other things that are going on with the economy and things that affect your money. And then coming up after that, I'll give you my grade on Donald Trump's first 100 days. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.